All right, so first thing you're going to notice is that you get full access to work on and view the engine, and there's a particular reason for that. This lovely piano hinge that I've been soaking for a couple days now just will not come loose. I'm not real fond of the way they mounted this for two reasons. One, they welded the piano hinge to this piece of metal, and then presumably the piano hinge is supposed to be welded to the actual steel hood that we have sitting outside the door. So those spot welds broke before the hinge would move. One of the big complaints I've had about these carriers, and I've been around these machines for 35 years, if you have the boom down on the bed here and its travel position, and you have a problem with the engine, the drive engine of the truck, you can't get to it. There's nothing you can do to get in there because the hood is underneath the boom. And they always put it a piano hinge or some type of a hinge system. So I'm going to say to alleviate that issue, I think it would be much more appropriate to have just pins, just 4 pins like they did on race hoods on cars. Just have even an aluminum hood. It's just a simple bend. Put an aluminum deck hood on this thing with 4 pins with cotter clips, and that way if the boom is down, you got 3 inches to work with. You can simply pull the 4 pins and slide the thing out. And you can actually get at the motor in between the lattice part of the boom, and that could be very critical. I know that I, through the years, have had that issue where I couldn't access, for instance, the compressor. You can get through this panel here, but gosh, it's no fun at all. So, anything regarding the fuel system, you definitely would have an issue. So that's what I advocate for. Same story here, piano hinge, welded in, broke when I tried to move it. Battery cover, same thing, I just put an aluminum cover over that. You'll notice the drip edge of the cab, we got rust. That's just something you're gonna have to stay on top of. Same thing here on top of this hood area. You grind that out, primer it, and rust control is gonna be a challenge. I would love for the machine to have no rust like the other machine that Bruce is familiar with. There is a downside to that. It'd be a whole lot more money. Bruce is familiar with what I sold that machine for. It's all relative. I've bought and sold some damaged boats in my past and career, and people say, oh, what a shame that boat got damaged. And I always say, well, actually, I'm not bothered by it, because if it didn't get damaged, I would never have owned it. So, for me, I wouldn't have the ability to sell you this machine at the price point that we're offering it if it were in better condition. It'd be more money. It doesn't affect the way the machine runs. It's a little bit aesthetic, and I appreciate the fact you'd want to do that, but I will tell you, this paint finish, when you clean it with a steam cleaner like I did, you can get a spray can of olive drab Kark paint. It's not the actual Kark paint, but it's the same color. You can grind away and do your thing, and you can shoot that with a spray bomb, and you won't see it 5-10 feet away. You're not trying to match the shine of a car finish. So, it's really about intermittent opportunities. I think Bruce commented on how he repainted the boom of the other machines. So you'll be able to do that if you so desire. The boom, all the lattice work in the boom is beautiful. It's not been bent or damaged or hit. When you start talking about lives and liability, and especially the thing that was on the news the other day in Philadelphia with the crane operator, it's a big deal, making sure you've got a machine that's really got a good boom on it, so you don't have to worry about it collapsing or having an issue. That's just one more thing about having a low hour or no hour machine that you get the benefit. Maybe you save 20, 30 grand buying a used machine with unknown hours, 10,000, 15,000 hours, but you never know how many people have been welding and cutting on it and fixing it. This is all fresh original. It's the real deal. So this is my dual personality now, talking about detrimental things like rust and 8.2 Detroits, which I'm not a big fan of, but I will tell you, I'm going to jump in the truck in just a second and fire it up, and you'll see it starts and runs good. It doesn't have excessive blow-by. I'd sure much rather have a 671 or 871 in there, or an 892 or something, but it's an 8.2, and I can't change that. It does start and run well, and there's certainly parts availability. It's no problem whatsoever. So I'm going to go ahead and jump down, and we're going to run around. I'm going to get in the cab and fire this thing up. All right, a little unusual without a seat in here, but I would advocate that the floor is rock solid. I would probably go ahead and shoot the floor with the Line-X that they use in the back of pickup beds. or coat it with a brush if you'd like. You know, I'm not a big fan of putting rubber mats or that insulation and then the rubber mat sandwich in here, because you know the reality is you get mud, dirt, and grime, and you just can't keep that from holding the moisture, and that's what rusts floors out. So I'd either leave it like it is, or I'd spray it with Line-X so it was just a little bit harder and you wouldn't slip when you're getting in and out of it. So I'm going to turn the key on and fire it up. Is it neutral? Starts that way every time. Run up a little air pressure and that valve will go off. Great oil pressure over 60 psi. 513 hours on the tachometer. Double reduction here as well. I'm going to try this one. Does it work? That doesn't work. Interior light needs to be fixed. So we'll go around and take care of a few of those things. But that's the way she starts every time. No issues there. Well, that concludes our presentation of the machine for you. We appreciate the time that you took to watch it, and we hope that it was informative and expressed to you all the benefits and all the derogatory issues that this machine has. Again, we can't express to you how much we appreciate the opportunity to engage with you, to market this machine to you and sell it, and we think it'd be ideal for you. It would be nice if all those things were taken care of that I'd like to have done, but all we can do is work together and see if there's a common or mutual benefit to concluding the deal. Feel free to ask for any additional footage you might need, even particular photographs if you want to blow them up big. We have really spectacular video and camera qualities and abilities. We can show you anything you really want to see in great detail. So again, the most critical and important part is if we proceed with this and we make a deal, you get the machine. We want you to walk up to the machine for the very first time and feel very comfortable that's exactly what you thought you were buying. We know long-term the use of the machine is appropriate and will be wonderful for your application. We don't believe that we can supply you with a better machine if you gave us several years to find you one. So, you know, from that standpoint, we think this is the right machine for you, even with its faults. It's not new. It's not $400 or $500 grand either. So we appreciate the opportunity. Look forward to talking to you soon. Have a good day.